all of us here in this room are involved in some sort of activity that supports our southwest landscapes from either a farming and or an environmental custodian approach.
We have some urgent issues that we need to solve environmentally.
If we look at our food production systems and the impact that we've had on the ecosystems that we farm in, you know, they've been quite extractive and quite degrading over a long period of time.
We want to see soil health improved, reposition farming as a noble pursuit.
And what we're going to do today is really think deep about how do we really change consumer buying behaviour? How do we really change farming practices?
The whole system's broke, so we need to solve these problems and shift the way we do things as a whole. So collective makes sense.
Where everybody kind of comes in from diverse situations as equals and looks to tackle things in a way that they would not be able to on their own.
Making sure that the collective impact that we come up with is really robust, but also that the how-to and the way that we get there is meaningful for a broad cross-section of the community.
I think the main challenge is us, how we work together, recognising that collective impact has worked quite effectively in other sectors like health and welfare.
And we've got a lot of different stakeholders in the room today, very multidisciplinary.
For kind of collaborative initiatives like this, because it actually gets people together to think about what's the change that we want to drive and how are we going to do it, identifying where there are kind of gaps or identifying what kind of activities are needed to drive the change.
Evidence, what's the evidence before we change our practice? And natural capital accounting is one of those evidence factors, and natural capital accounting is becoming closer to being a mainstream sort of activity.
I mean, climate science, natural capital science, it's an extraordinarily complex area of R&D and E and policy and development.
So we need to focus on environmental change. That's what people are talking about. A biodiverse and a community inclusive version of that.
Government-led and government doing it, so it's not just offset.
You actually invested in the soil and the product was good and that's what you ate. Oh, happy days.
It's not much good if I just do something nice in my little patch. You know, it needs to be my neighbours, it needs to be my catchment, it needs to be the whole of West Australia if we're really going to make an impact.
We, as in all of us and government included, do not have a strategic approach and a long-term vision on how we're going to manage this situation that we're now facing. And I do believe this collective impact approach can certainly help with that.
Everyone coming together, you know, we've all been part of the problem, but you know, we're all part of the solution.
Is it is still easier to say no than to say yes. This is too important to get a no. It has to be a yes. We want this group who've actually got to know each other over the years, who've been brought together in a design that helps them share their purpose. We already have natural capital accounting on 30 farms as a minimum viable product here. They're locals, they know each other, they trust each other. What they don't have is some funding and a strategy and cohesion. All they need is a bit of government backing. What civilised government wouldn't give them that for the future generation of the children today?